Welcome to Sanctum. You're listening to The 100 Podcast, a show about CW's sci-fi series, The 100. I'm Daniel Prime.
Hallowed be his name.
And today I'm joined by my one crew warrior, Olga.
Hey everybody, today we're discussing Season 6, Episode 8, entitled The Old Man and the Anomaly.
Very fun title. I like that one.
it. I've never read the book.
Well, we'll get into that in our extended podcast that we
true.
do after. These are our first
A
reactions
tease.
that we do. So right after the episodes air, every Tuesday, we give you our first reactions, both in video and audio form. If you want to see it in video, it's youtube.com/doingok. That's DOINGOK. And if you want to do it on audio form, you have the Doing OK shirt on. Old logo,
Version 1, yes.
And if you want to listen on audio, we're on all sorts of podcast services. It usually goes up the Wednesday after the episode goes up. So let's just talk. What did we think of the old man and his anomaly?
Well, first of all, I want to give props to you.
Me?
You called that Xavier was Gabriel.
I mean, I'm not alone in that.
You weren't,
yeah.
but I was so adamant. I think at one point I was like 0%. You were like really 0, and I backtracked to 85% against.
Yep.
My B.
I mean, you're still not happy about it, right?
No.
No, I mean, I think the thing is, obviously, it wasn't like shocking or anything, but I kind of like, I guess because I like the actor who's playing Xavier.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to like, rather than waiting until episode 8 to introduce a very important character, to have slowly been secretly, quote unquote, introducing this character throughout the whole season.
You know why I think I don't like it?
Yeah.
This episode told us how he told us why he's in a young man's body. We didn't get a flashback.
Yeah.
We didn't get any. There was just a lot of talking.
There was a lot
episode.
of exposition. Yeah.
And frankly, so I made a face for our podcast listeners. I made a face when Dan asked about what I thought of this episode.
I liked it more than her.
I was underwhelmed. And
I thought it was good.
And again, I'm not saying it was a bad episode. I just feel like my standards for a good episode of the 100 this season are really high.
Yeah.
So that made this episode be just like good, fine, not great.
Yeah, there was a lot of things happening. And that's like, I mean, I kind of saw that coming because we spent so much on Clark last week that they had a lot of actors they needed to have in the episode and a lot of threads they had to play with. So we have the whole thing with Murphy and Maury, Riker and Josephine, and then we have like Bellamy and people coming into that. And then we also have the Maddie stuff with Jordan, and then we also have the stuff on Allegis, and then we also have the stuff with the Anomaly. And so it's a lot of juggling pieces.
That's a lot.
It's to the point like where I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot Abby was in this episode.
That's not really like all of these things all right, maybe not all of them, but a lot of these things deserved more attention. So it just kind of felt like this episode was trying to, there's one of your favorite phrases, like serve too many masters, and therefore to me didn't really fully succeed in most of them. I think that I'm going to say the only one that to me really succeeded was the Amori, Murphy, Riker, Josephine part.
Yeah.
And then
I thought that was fantastic.
That was really good.
That was really great. I loved how much we got for Amori. It's been too long.
You had a little heart. She has a lot of plotting and agency. You can see her inner turmoil.
And you can see how she's changed and he hasn't necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because I talked earlier, I think, in this season about how I kind of struggled with them as a couple because I thought season 5, they were dealing with like legitimate, like real world couple issues. And then it was at the end of the season, it was just like, things are crazy. I love you. Now we're not going to really talk about those.
We're just back together. Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting, like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back sort of thing, that this episode they basically had the proposal, which, I mean, to be clear, I fucking love Amori and
so
Murphy.
Cute.
That was amazing and adorable.
I was like, oh, my survival babies.
Yeah.
And then.
But then, I mean, like, so to a certain degree, it does show their dissonance that even though they really care about each other and that she would stay behind with him and be taken or whatever.
And that she actually still does feel the pull of the individual surviving on her own.
Yeah, but at the same time, she has grown up a little bit. Like, she has a family. She cares about the people around her. She cares about Clark. She cares about Bellamy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, I think I would be great if we have gotten more of her throughout these episodes and throughout season 5, where it really showed more and more of that buildup.
Yeah.
But I still thought it worked really well. It leaves Murphy in a pretty crappy place. As far as like likability, I mean, he's been there before.
Not the first time. But it's also a little different because you also like, it does make him less likable, but at the same time, he's already got this goodwill from you. So you're like, Murphy, you'll fight back. Like you'll find your way back again. Like I always believe that. And
I think what it comes down to, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to come back from him like actively working to kill Clark.
That's the thing that makes this episode difficult, and where I feel like in a way this subplot did kind of fail. Is I don't really understand why they're agreeing
to do this. Well, because they want to be immortal. Is the answer.
Yeah, and I know that Josephine has like blackmail against Riker and other people.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Jade, I guess.
Jade, the best guard ever, who magically teleports away from the trees.
The Offering Grove where Echo left her.
Which, I mean, again, I'm sure Echo went back and saved her, but it's just like weird that like there's not even a line.
Like Echo was never actually planning on leaving her there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I understand that there's like reasoning for that. Yeah. I just wish that Murphy had said more about why even like I'm going along with it because I still want to live forever.
Yeah.
But this is messed up. You just told me that she was dead and there was nothing I could do. So I might as well play along. Now I'm like actively participating in killing a friend.
I mean, I feel like I felt that in the subtext, but I feel like the acting behind the eyes kind of stuff worked pretty well.
It does because
and Josephine was aware of it because she was goading him the entire time.
Right.
She's fucking psycho. But I mean, I think that a lot of that worked, but it does make it like, and it comes back to what I was saying when we were watching, which is, okay, I guess Murphy's really pissed at Clark this season, so it almost makes sense, except that I still don't understand why he's so pissed at Clark. And like he brings up the thing about like, Clark almost microwaved you. Except that then Clark felt so guilty and realized it was a mistake.
She tried to put herself in that. Yeah. And she would have if not for Abby. And also, again, she gave up her suit to Amori.
Yeah.
And then sacrificed. Like.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone has earned Amori and Murphy's respect, it should be Clark.
Like, they're holding this thing against her that she literally undid in the subsequent episodes that then made them respect and like her within the season.
Yeah.
And now it's like, all right, now, but now we're 2 seasons later, so you have to not like her.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I understand that she did like things that would annoy him in season 5, like maybe 1 or 2 things. But it's like, again, he of all people, who's he to judge?
But nothing against him and Amori, which again, like truly against them. Which is
I'm just
again,
like in general, I'm just so angry. I'm like getting angry at the show for not standing up for Clark more, and I'm upset that Amori didn't say that when he said that to her.
Agree.
At the same time, I love that Amori, had this plan, that they worked together, that she did the right thing. I think that the plan was actually really smart. Mm-hmm. They had like, the fact that they brought her out, they used the MP to get down the shield. It's very interesting that you're seeing Bellamy take her away. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either. I like that this gives us reason to have Bellamy reuniting with Octavia. I'm glad that the Blake siblings have a future interaction again on the book.
Future, you say?
What?
Time travel.
Time anomaly. Right. Speaking of the anomaly, I think that part of the episode did work.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Overall.
I think my problem with the anomaly part is that I don't think I necessarily learned a whole lot of new things. Like, I thought this was going to be like the big coming out party of the anomaly in a way, right? It was like the big anomaly episode. And in some ways, because we already knew the old man part of this, that wasn't surprising. So I was like, okay, move on. I mean, I did think that the backstory of him being forced into it was a surprise. And I liked that. And that was interesting.
And the fact that the fact that out of rage he killed a man who he saw as his own like son, basically. Yeah. But again, I would have liked to see that. I don't want to hear about it. And
especially
also,
when you have this device of him.
Exactly.
Of the flares.
I was going to say, once you set up the device of, oh, the anomaly creates an aura very similar to the red sun in Psychosis. And the only person that he sees is Josephine.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I like the actress that plays Josephine too. But I want to see this man who he killed with his, like, I guess, bare hands, or maybe I'm filling that in. But like this man that he's torturing himself for killing. I would want to see flashes of the other, like, first rounds of hosts that he killed to bring Josephine into her body. The one that we saw maybe in the, like, lab scene. Like, I want him to be more haunted and not just by, like, Josephine mocking him and his plans.
I think the other thing is it does feel like a slight missed opportunity that they could have had him, like, tell them one story, and then as they're walking, we start piecing together that he was an unreliable narrator a little bit or something, or we get little pieces. I don't know. There could have been, I think there could have been more interesting stuff there. I still think he's an interesting character. Yeah. The fact that, like, he did have this moral awakening. He didn't want to come back, but he was forced into it. And so then he did a violent thing. And then they talk about how he's cowardly, but then he's trying to justify it. So, like, I think that he has an interesting thing going there. Interestingly, it seems very similar to what Kane is like in a lot of ways, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. But the stuff as far as getting, like, we got the one flash of Bellamy.
Yeah, that made me really excited. Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah, but I mean, then she went in there, right? Yes. So we're going to probably get more.
She went in. Okay. So, Dioza was called by Hope, by her daughter, into the anomaly. I also sat there and thought, like, we're going to see what's in the anomaly this episode or something. And also, again, we have this time crunch of, like, Octavia withering away and it reaching her mind. And we, out of her psychotic mind, we only get one flash of Bellamy on his knees. Just another step back, another positive, because I feel like I'm about to be kind of negative. Dioza and Octavia, again, murder squad, like,
they were
propping
great.
Each other up, being, you know, her being like, you know me, and she's like, two snakes. And I was like, yeah, that's my girl, you know, that was really nice.
Yeah. And even then, Octavia going after Dioza.
And that's the thing. Her going after Dioza was a really nice touch. But then it's, again, this thing of, like, and now we have Xavier/Gabriel alone staring at the anomaly. Yeah. And Octavia pops out, and she's younger/healthier looking again.
Well, so then again, it brings up interesting questions of, like, okay, so how long was she actually in there?
Right.
Where's Dioza? And then again, like, how soon will we find out these answers is an interesting thing. Like, is it possible we won't see Dioza for, like, many episodes now?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's just one of those awkward things. And again, she could be going on maternity leave in the show.
So I think what it really comes down to is that we both wanted things to go a little bit further with the anomaly stuff, that it felt more like a tease than I think we were looking forward to.
In an episode called The Old Man and the Anomaly. Yes.
But, you know, we'll see. I'm still wondering if we don't end up learning that much until near the end of the season, setting up stuff next year.
Yeah.
But let's talk about something we did learn about, which was Allegius and Abby and Raven and the
Nightblood.
Sexy new Kane. And I think that the Raven part of this was probably Raven's best plot line of the season.
It was, because, I mean, it continues to have her on her moral high ground that they've set up this season.
Yeah.
But
she gives an inch.
But exactly. She has a little bit more heart towards our characters again.
It's not just anger and hatred, even though that's there. It's like, oh, maybe I can save you. That's a much more likable position that I can get on board with.
Yeah, I hate that this is our discourse around Raven. Is how can I find her likable again? It just makes me sad.
Yeah, but I think that
but this
works.
Is good. That we're on track.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, Abby. I mean, so many people were hopeful that we would have her going up there as a trick, that she would have figured out what was going on with Clark. I mean, it really does feel like addiction season redux for her. Like it became that in a way. And also, like, I mean, with that, it's also like a bit of a delusions are coming with it too, where it's like, oh, she's deluding herself and being like, I'm not doing this for me. Well, yeah, you are. Even if he kicks you away, you're still doing it for you if he doesn't want it. Like,
if you know he wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
And you're doing it to, remove your own guilt a bit.
Or because you can't stand, like, you'd rather live in a world with him where he's mad at you than live in a world without him. It's just like she's just falling deeper into the hole. And again, like, sure, like, you don't get over addiction in one season, quote unquote. But yeah, it makes her, when you have a character who seems this self-centered, no matter what the reasoning, it's hard to be on board with them, especially when they don't seem to care or notice that their daughter is,
I don't know,
going off the deep end.
Yeah, that's definitely, I don't know what they do with Abby going forward. Like, after, she's brought back Kane.
Yeah.
I don't know what her purpose is anymore.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we get sexy Abby. She goes into a hot young bod.
Hey, you can be hot at her age, whatever that age may be.
Yes, I mean, to be clear, Kane was always sexy, but now he's like nubile sexy.
I was a little... We had a long discussion after this episode ended of just how unfortunately sexy new Kane is, in my opinion.
In your opinion. He was distractingly shirtless.
That's really what I mean. I was just like, you had great points about it, of like, it's very Captain America-esque.
Yeah, it's like, it's about him being overwhelmed by his new body, and so it's showing you like how different his body is from his old body. That being said, that's a convenient reason.
It is. Yeah. I couldn't help but read my like meta narrative here, and we cast this actor who I guess is known
from Bitten, I believe it was.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Bitten boy.
Yes.
Hot bitten boy.
He will be if Abby gets her hands on him. But oh my god, but it was just one of those things where I felt the CW nature of the show. It reminded me of the time Bellamy was like boxing shirtless
with Lincoln.
Yeah. I'm like, well, okay,
come on, that was great.
It was great, but that was when the show was like pre-genocide and mass murder to this degree.
That was after Mount Weather. That was the beginning of season 3.
You're right. Never mind. I'm talking out of my ass. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess not pre-genocide, but I just feel like the show has kind of changed.
Yeah.
So seeing something.
Well, it was also, that was like a fun, sexy scene, whereas this is like a serious, sexy scene.
Well, that's the whole thing is it's not super him realizing what his body is. It's just him realizing he's not in his original body and it's over there. Yeah. So that's the thing where I was like, oh, give me a scene where Kane is shirtless in his bedroom, in a bedroom, in a mirror, being like, what the fuck? Yeah. But this wasn't
the moment
the same thing, because I wanted it to be about him and Abby.
I was able to peel my eyes away from this lovely man in order to take it in. But what do we feel like? Do you feel definitively this is the end of seeing Henry and Cusick on this show?
It has to be, right?
I'm not going to say it has to be. I mean, it's probably. If there is not an interview that comes out today where they definitively say that, then I would not say it's definitive. Because
if there's time travel
well,
in the show?
I didn't even think about that. But okay. I guess his body's pretty done, right?
If the whole idea is they had to keep him in cryo because he would bleed out because his organs were shutting down. He's just lying on a table with a sheet over his head. I don't think that corpse was breathing.
Yeah. So probably done. Very interesting to see what they'll do with this Frankenstein Kane.
That's rude.
Why?
He's no Frankenstein.
He's CW Frankenstein. I'm interested. I'm interested to see this actor and how he will play this character we've known for so long, and how long it will be distracting. I'm interested to see his interactions with Abby, and
I'm interested.
It's something. It's certainly something. I don't know. It's a choice. I
don't think it's a bad choice.
No, I'm just sort of overwhelmed by it.
Exactly. It just felt like this like cherry on top of a very overfull Sunday. Yeah. I'm like, on top of everything, Kane
There's a lot of good things in that Sunday, but at the end of the Sunday, I'm like holy crap.
My stomach hurts. I think, honestly, all right, I know I've said a lot of negative things in this. Yeah. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Almost always when there's an episode where I'm like meh on, I feel better on rewatch.
Yeah.
So I feel confident I will be less distracted by the things I was distracted by. I didn't want to repeat that, but yes. And I will be less disappointed with like the anomaly conclusion. And by conclusion, I mean in this episode, it's conclusion.
Yep.
Like all of these things are going to be less low, and all the highs I think are going to be higher.
I did want to throw out something you brought up about the Kane stuff, which hopefully someone will answer. It's probably the answers right out there, but as far as when we're reacting right now, we don't know why Kane still has red blood. We thought that you needed to give him night blood first in order to implant the mind drive to get his consciousness.
That's what I thought too. I thought everyone had to receive the mind drive and have it meld in with your consciousness. You had to be a night blood, and I distinctly saw red bloody bandages around.
Is it possible that like it hadn't completely filled through the whole body? I don't know.
Or they were old bandages. Works. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. It just felt like a wait a second kind of deal. So if you have an answer, comment.
Well, leading into that. So I'm sure we didn't get to everything. We're going to in our longer podcast, which will not be this coming Sunday, but because next week we don't have an episode of The 100. And we are going on vacation. We're packing our bags and blowing this pop stand. And so we'll do an episode the Sunday before the next episode. Send in your feedback in the comments below. Tweet at us at the 100 podcast. Go to the100podcast.com. All that fun stuff. the100pod@gmail.com to email us. And we'll have a whole long period of time of percolating on these fine episodes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Any last words?
May we meet again.
May we meet again. Kane's fight is over. Sort of.